From wizarding worlds to capes and cowls.
I love superhero movies, I would totally do that.
Here's the Harry Potter cast and the superheroes they should portray. Fun fact, did you know that Emma Watson was the frontrunner to play Yelena in the new Black Widow movie? Turns out that Marvel was firmly behind the Harry Potter actress and she was their #1 pick for the gig. For some unknown reason though, she didn't get cast and the role went to fellow British actress Florence Pugh. It isn't the first time, nor likely to be the last, that Emma's name has been mentioned in the same breath as a Marvel movie. But it does make you wonder, who could she still portray if most of the major roles have already been locked in? Well, there is a certain fantastic project on the horizon that will need to be cast pretty soon. Yup, we're talking about the MCU's upcoming Fantastic Four film. Set to be directed by John Watts, the same man behind the recent Spider-Man movies, it's sure to be the perfect blend of action, adventure, and comedy. And if the studio is looking for the right person to bring Susan Storm, aka the Invisible Woman, to life on the big screen, Emma should definitely be in the mix. Sue is smart, funny, courageous, and a natural leader, all qualities that could be used to describe Hermione Granger. Since Emma already nailed these credentials in the past, it's time for her to tap into her expertise and bring Sue to life in the MCU. Though we wouldn't rush too far ahead and cast Rupert Grint as Mr. Fantastic just yet.
That's totally barbaric.
Sorry fam, there's another role that's almost too perfect to ignore for Rupert, and that's Wally West. You know, the other Flash? With the upcoming Flash movie set to showcase the world of speedsters, there's a great opportunity for the roster to be expanded upon and for some new characters to be introduced in the DC film universe. Wally is beloved among DC fans due to his good nature, sense of humor, and always doing what's right. And of course, his flaming red hair. For a generation of fans who grew up with the Flash comics in the 80s, he's the only Scarlet speedster they recognize as he took the mantle from Barry Allen. Back to Rupert, it isn't too difficult to see why he would fit the part like a glove. He literally checks all the boxes to be Wally, with Ron Weasley basically being his audition for the role here.
I'm ready.
Also, he deserves another shot at comic book properties. In case you didn't know, Rupert was originally cast in a superhero show called Super Clyde. A pilot was filmed for it and everyone who watched it thought it was great, but it sadly wasn't picked up by CBS. But a chance at playing Wally West could be the ultimate redemption story for Rupert. Another Harry Potter actor who's more than familiar with The Flash is Tom Felton. He starred as Julian Albert on the TV show and even hilariously found the Philosopher's Stone on one episode. Eat your heart out, Potter.
I hate that guy.
Unfortunately, Tom was only a regular for the 3rd season before departing for other projects. He has made a guest appearance here and there since then, but the jump in timelines surely didn't help his character's arc much. For Tom, he'd love nothing more than to rejoin the series full-time again, telling Digital Spy, "I miss it. I miss those guys terribly, yeah. I miss Grant Gustin and all the team there. I had a great time here in Vancouver for 9 months. Yeah, I say bring back Julian." Well, if Tom is so keen on it, then why not? No one asked you, Harry. The Flash TV show seems to still be going strong and continues to provide twist after twist. We've already seen a few characters portray the dastardly Reverse Flash, so maybe Tom deserves a shot at the ultimate bad guy too. He's itching for another go, and the fans seem to be behind him too. As he's revealed, he's more recognized for his stint on the TV show than for his time as Draco Malfoy. Can you believe it? Somebody better start a petition to get Julian back on the Flash. In a flash. While our minds are still on Slytherin, let's take a look at Ralph Fiennes. Ralph is no stranger to comic book movies, having voiced Alfred in the Lego Batman movie and appearing as the Duke of Oxford in The King's Man. Heck, he was even in the Avengers. Not that one.
You'll pay for that.
What we would really like to see though is him as an actual superhero. You know, someone with real powers. Ralph has admitted that he isn't the biggest fan of superhero movies, but he likes them when they have a strong human root. Well, which team has a stronger human root than the X-Men? It's literally a story about accepting the differences in each other and embracing the diversity around us. Ralph himself would be the ideal candidate to portray the latest iteration of Professor Charles Xavier, who'll debut in the MCU sooner rather than later. The character is someone who's trying to better the world for both humans and mutants, believing that both can coexist in perfect harmony. It's certainly not a role that's going to see Ralph throwing Superman punches or flying around in a cape, but one that explores the power of empathy and how good can overcome evil. And is there anyone more capable of bringing Professor X to life than Ralph right now? You know who doesn't really get the credit they deserve? Evanna Lynch. She was sensational as Luna Lovegood and has gone on to make quite the name for herself as a theatre actress in terrific productions. While she'll always be recognised for her performance as Luna in Harry Potter, she'd also be the picture-perfect choice for someone who's been missing in recent Spider-Man movies, Gwen Stacy. While Emma Stone undoubtedly turned in a fantastic performance as the character in the previous film series, it'd be interesting to see if the MCU would let Gwen develop into her superhero persona, Spider-Gwen. With all the new Spider people set to join the live-action Spider-Verse in the near future, the studio needs to act fast and lock in all the right actors for the parts. And there aren't that many actresses around who have both the comic book accurate look and necessary acting chops to convince us both Gwen and Spider-Gwen. Evanna enchanted us in Harry Potter, and she could do the same in Spider-Man too. Just make it happen! Dudley Dursley might have been the opposite of Harry Potter in the series. You know, non-heroic and kind of annoying whenever he appeared on screen. But actor Harry Melling is slowly starting to carve a niche out for himself in the business. People are noticing he's a multifaceted performer with a quirkiness that you just can't imitate. Seeing that, he should easily be one of the first names on the list for a Plastic Man movie. In case you're unfamiliar with the character, he literally bends his body into weird and wonderful shapes like the DC version of Mr. Fantastic. However, Plastic Man is way more hilarious than Reed Richards. He has a Deadpool-esque sense of humor and weirdness to him. Considering some of Harry's most recent roles, couldn't you imagine him in such a role? You just know that he'll lean into the craziness better than most and embrace all the silliness of the superhero. Whenever there's a new comic book film to be cast, you can bet your last dollar that Daniel Radcliffe's name will be attached to the project. In fact, it's shocking to believe that he hasn't appeared in a superhero movie yet, especially considering what he's said about the genre in the past. Before the release of Batman vs Superman, Dan revealed to BuzzFeed that he's a huge fan of the movies as well as which superhero he'd like to portray on the big screen. He said, "Batman. If they reboot that again, I'll do that too. It's happening, isn't it? With Ben Affleck? I could be Robin. I'm perfect." While his old pal Robert Pattinson is now playing the role, so no chance now. And since Dan's older than 30 now, the ship to play the young boy wonder may well and truly have set. Do you know which part hasn't yet? The new Wolverine in the MCU. Dan made a joke once that he'd be suiting up as the famous mutant, and the internet ran with it.
Somebody said, like, would you want to play Wolverine? And I made a joke about, like, which I thought was so clearly a joke, because I was like, yeah, I would play Wolverine if he's just been, like, shrunk in a hot wash.
Though when you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Wolverine is supposed to be smaller in the comics, and Dan is the right height and age to play the grisly X-Men character. Replacing Hugh Jackman as the popular character is certainly no easy feat, but if anyone can produce a magic performance, surely it's Harry Potter himself, right? It seems like we can create the best comic book movie multiverse using only the cast from Harry Potter. So if you're down to learn more about these incredible actors and their famous parts, be sure to take our magical Harry Potter quiz. And while you're at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and stay awesome!